We will acquaint you with a unique world, a world of fierce warriors and wonderful romantics, a mysterious and legendary world, a world of poets and government officials, a world of great empires and nomadic culture, a world of eternal blue sky, the Turkic world. From you, prudent people will come, scribes and prophets, tsars and khans. Great Tengri. Since ancient times, Kazakh people was called people of poets, people of singers, because of their rich oral poetry and immense song and musical heritage. Indeed, from the earliest times, nomadic steppe has been a unique center of verbal musical creation and performing arts, with developed and sustained canons, genres, systems, forms of this kind of activity, with a separate cast of professional orators, rhapsodes and bards, akhins, zhyraus, kushis, alanshis, sals, series, etc. Any ancient poetry is at the same time a cult, festive entertainment, collective game, manifestation of ingenuity, trial and proposing riddles, wise teaching, over-persuasion, enchantment, clairvoyance, prophecy, contest. From a clairvoyant poet only gradually stand out figures of a prophet, priest, oracle, mystagogue, poet, as well as philosopher, legislator, speaker, demagogue, sophist and rhetorician. Poetry is a bearer of wisdom, law and custom. It's the most effective means of expression. This applies particularly to zhyrau. The word zhyrau comes from the word zhyr. Turkic word zhyr means heroic epic song. Recitation of epic songs by professional authors zhyraus to the accompaniment of a musical instrument kubiz became a tradition of steppe culture. In Russian it is called recitative. Worldview objectives of ancient Turks and heirs of Turkic civilization, represented by the Kazakhs, are particularly clearly seen in memorials of the oral folk literature. They include legends, fables, heroic epics, zhyrs. At the heart of all visualizations of the universe there is a natural principle, which is a cult peak of understanding of surrounding reality. Epic Kitab-i Dedem Korkyt is one of the memorials of oral literary traditions of Turkic peoples. The basic values, symbols of the Turkic world model, were reflected in it. It is known that objects of nature such as land, water, mountains and trees are the epitome of life, imbued with deep philosophy of nomadic way of life.
Все это является отражением природного начала, проникнуты глубинной философией кочевой степи.
According to genealogical legends, August tribes, by the way, the above-mentioned source was written in their language, were generated from their ancestor August Khan, who had 6 sons. They bore the following names: sun, kun, month, eye, star, Yıldız, mountain, tug, sea, tennis, and sky, Kok. From these August Khan's sons, 24 grandsons were born, and as known, August tribes were called by their names. Each tribe had a totem animal and, respectively, their own tamga, sign. Magic spells by which the source is accompanied date back to archaic times, showing close relationship with the natural world. Your snowy mountains will not be broken, your shady strong tree will not be cut down, your forever flowing beautiful river will not dry out. Korkyt Ata's book. In queues of Turkic peoples of Central Asia, there are preserved ancient legends about sad consequences of irrational behavior of people in relation to nature. In Kyrgyz people, there are several legends about a certain hunter Kozhozhash who shot his son by mistake, taking him for a fawn. It was a punishment for the reckless and greedy attitude to nature. From here, among hunters, arose a legend about 1,000 animals, the number of which can be killed in their life. Violation of this prohibition threatened the hunter with negative treatment against him by wild fowls killed more than this number. This story was reflected in the work Karagul Botom, where the main character had shot his son, taking him for a fawn. There were herds of merles, it seemed. It was necessary to hunt them in order to get food, medicine, wool, etc. But there were some animals called kieli, sacred. They couldn't be killed. They had certain marks on their faces, and the hunter always knew that this animal could not be killed. Present-day hunters don't know that, and therefore they kill every animal, and sometimes get the curse of the people till the end of time. The nomad knew that this animal cannot be killed, because it was a bearer of the spirit of this herd or those animals. Also in the herd of horses there was a nisana, a horse that personified carried the spirit of this herd. It must not be ridden, it was forbidden to fight on it, and moreover, it must not be eaten. That is, if the whole herd had been gone, people would have tried to find this particular nisana. It was like a life totem. If black mountains lying against us were intact, people would have summer pastures. If redwood waters were intact, their blood would fall. If mighty horses were intact, foals would be born. Korkyt Ata's book. The cult of the tree of Turkic-speaking peoples is one of the most ancient cults. There are widely known legends about origin of Turkic tribes from the tree. In Oguz Name, the boy, Kipchak's ancestor, was born in a hollow tree. Hollow tree is personified in the cosmogonic view as the tree of life, the Milky Way. Kipchak's Tamga is the first letter of Arabic alphabet Alif in the form of two vertical lines, according to figurative expression of Zhyrau Rizbaeva, represents two trees. Quite often, relationship between society and nature is described by symbolism of the tree. For ancient Turks, the tree was the same ancestor of human being, like the mountains. To see a falling tree in a dream was a bad omen. It meant the death of someone from relatives. It was also forbidden to cut young trees in the forest, since it could lead to death of children. Oral poetry of steppe zhyraus has become embodiment of Turkic mentality, martial prowess and ancient nomadic traditions. Epic poem songs were called zhyrs, and poets-artists were called zhyraus. These were people, as was supposed, to whom God gave high spiritual mission, to educate people to prophecy. As if the whole historical memory of the people appeared in their face. Performing an epic put the zhyrau into a trance state, which entailed a sense of impact of strong energy flows. Zhyrau's mission fulfilled some magical actions, attraction of mercy of ancestral spirits.
Уже в 20 веке в литературе очень
As early
часто
as
можно
in the
встретить
20th century, in the literature were often described cases where during performance of the epic, for example, Edege or Manas, storms started suddenly. In the traditional culture of the peoples of Central Asia, there is a philosophical identification of the term spirit with the term wind, breath. The Kazakhs had a custom to hold initiation rites, initiation into warriors, zhyrau and dombra players, blessing by name Nur-Tole, just in a stormy day.
всегда начинается в буранный день.
Mythology is the main key that opens the door to a magical, sacred, amazingly beautiful country, our eternal fatherland, forgotten by us. Serikbol Kandebai. There was saved one of the versions related to the character of Korkyt in Turkic people's folklore and invention of a Kazakh national instrument kobys. There is a legend of swan. Being a boy, Korkyt saw a hunter kill one of a pair of swans swimming in the lake. The second swan died in Korkyt's view due to suffering from loss of the beloved. Under influence of what he had seen, the boy made a wooden tool that resembled a bird, and having come to the hunter's house and playing the kobys, he performed a cue, narrating about love and distracted serene happiness. This is a violation of harmony of the surrounding world.
Вот эта открытость миру, она формировала кочевника.
This openness to the world formed a nomad, not only as a fighter, but also as a hospitable man and as a person who perceived the world in its entity, integrity and objectivity, and who lived according to laws of this world, according to laws of this space. What I want hereby to say, the whole folk culture of the nomads, for example, a yurt, a Turkic verse, poem, music, relations between each other and among other peoples, it was permeated with a high awareness of the fact that you lived in this world, Jalgan Duniye, once, but you have to live worthily, beautifully, widely and self-worthily. O Tengri, before giving prosperity, give back sense of honor to Kazakhs. Bless descendants of Kazakh and Kazakhstan. Serikbol Kandebai. Zhyraus were considered prophetic poets anticipating the future. But zhyrau didn't tell fortunes. He had experience of ancestors, knowledge of zhyrau genealogical tree, history, present and future world. Zhyraus were bank of ideas, analytical and intellectual base of Khan's council. They knew the situation in each clan or tribe to the last detail. Having received reliable information, zhyrau performed an accurate analysis. For example, Hasan Kagi predestined disruption of the Golden Horde. Zhyraus mainly came from military aristocracy and enjoyed prestige with the people and enhanced headquarters. In their art, along with other genres, there was also a genre of predictions. They were considered prophetic persons. They predicted political events and climate change, affecting the life of society. Zhyraus are exceptional layer of literature. Zhyraus are concentrated expression of Turkic national spirit. In the world culture, there are two types of known bearers. Those who create texts, ritual singers, like Homeric bards, and those who disseminate texts, like rhapsodes in ancient Greece. In our country, they are called zhyraus and akins. Both types are distinguished by different social status and related functions. The first sang at the courts and headquarters, the second in the nation.
если взять хотя бы те же жиры,
If we take those zhyrau, scientists cannot understand how it is possible for several days without stopping to read a zhyrau consisting of 100,000 lines. One epic, Manas, is 40 times greater than Iliad and Odyssey taken together. That is, it is not possible to remember it. Accordingly, the Ram Manaschis, now in Kyrgyzstan, there is a 5-year-old Manaschi, a 5-year-old boy who recites complicated poems. It is impossible to remember them, especially in the age of 5. Manaschis are special people who have kasiyet, this gift, through which they are connected to a particular source, from which a performed text verbal stream arrives. This verbal stream forms consciousness, forms the spirit of people. Researchers and travelers testified that during performing those zhyrau, nomads didn't only listen and nod, but they also jumped up, took out their guns and began to wave them, shouted battle cries, that is, in fact, they took part, they became heroes of this story.
То есть фактически они соучаствуют, они становятся героями этого повествования.
Kazakh language is like a mythical hero Tajabala, who at first sight appears as a poor ragamuffin, a poor bald boy, but in the blink of an eye, changing his appearance, he can appear formidable Batur Alpamis. For a deep knower of Kazakh language, he turns into an ancient, mysterious man full of hidden secrets. Serikbol Kandabai. As a ritual singer, zhyrau speaks once. Jershis comment his performance, and Dakins spread his voice across the steppe, because they are texts of high order. This is the moment of meritocracy, the power of skilled men, the power of selected men. Zhyraus held high positions because they were bearers of statehood and integrity of Kazakh unity, beginning with their son Kaigi. And any Han was also a bearer of statehood. Zhyraus spoke on behalf of the Han's council, on behalf of the tribal union. They spoke about state affairs in the moments of ethno-political consolidation. Han's ideology was passed through Zhyraus as bearers of previous knowledge, and only then the text went out. As Mukhtar Margawin said, in the most important moments in history or in tragic situations, zhyrau appeared and rectified the situation as a ritual mediator. There is a harmony, a nomadic society. There is a chaos, the whole world. And to avoid dying of his world, zhyrau mythologically corrected the Khan primarily, and at the same time he taught the people as the basis of the Khanate. If Khan, for example, cannot defend his lands, it is defamation of society. Shakan Walihanov wrote that Aruaks, spirits, and the sky loved music and songs. When zhyrau began to play and sing an epic, another time began, because the Aruaks were there. Once zhyrau touches Kobis, that world crosses this world, the world of ancestors and generations. After the death of the hero, also a song dedicated to him is sung. A year later, already dedicated to Aruak. From this, there is a huge number of epic tales: Alpamis, Kublandı Batur, Yer Targin, Yer Edige, Yer Sain, Kumbar Batur, etc. The value of the epic is very large. It is based on a heroic song, and names of the epics are not just names of batyrs, but battle cries. And battle cries, urans, addressed to Arabs, created a powerful energetic support to warriors. For nomadic men, honor was very important, which was uran. It was usually named after the ancestor, the forefather of the tribe.
Уран – это основное поле для
Uran
создания
is the main
эпоса.
field for
Имя
creation of an epic, the name of the ancestor. There was a note which zhyrau sang at the warrior's grave, when the warrior had been killed in a campaign, for the future heroic poems that the kings and jerseys then sung over again. But the fact is not in this case. Genre of epic itself, genre of heroism, was on a funeral ceremony. There are a lot of Kazakh epics. The epic popularly lives as an entity. And when the warrior rides and shouts names Urguzbai, Urguzbai, Tupai, Tupai, Olzhai, Olzhai, he calls names of his ancestors, arwahs, spirits. And they are here, and then, when the king sings, he will remember the names of these spirits. They are alive, real spirits, which are present with us.
Это реальные духи, которые рядом с нами присутствуют.
With cries Urguzbai, Urguzbai, Tupai, Turgai, Olzhai, Olzhai, the whole troop went after him, spreading over the hill like a fire. Mukhtar Awezov, A Wise Way. There is a version according to which the Kazakh Turkic epic is directly connected not only with magic and ritual, but also with the parent language of mankind. The point at issue is about a single proto-language of humanity, which allegedly originated in the Ural-Altai region, in Siberia and Central Asia, and dated back in its history of origin to Hyperboreans. No wonder studies of scientists say that Central Asia is a homeland of a single pre-alphabet. These ideas were put forward by Turkologist Altai Manjolov, and before him, as early as in the 20s of the 20th century, German researcher Hermann Wirth said about that. He wrote that the Germanic runes were distorted, and the single source was located in Central Asia and Siberia. Turkic epic, Manas, Koblandi, Alpamis and others, keeps these memories of the Golden Age. And the fact that the runes of Germans, Scandinavians and Turks are the same is a puzzle that is easily solved. Our region is the birthplace of the single pre-alphabet and unified human ancestral homeland. Western languages are rationalistic, Oriental languages are flowery, poetic. Kazakh language in the ancient poetry samples resembles pieces of fiery lava ejected from the other world. Kazakh music is the same. Talasbek Asimkulov. Zhyrau poetry is still a living phenomenon, the essence of our national spirit, and openness to the world and love of freedom have been its core values. These properties have never died in our nation, and I am sure they will not die.